Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Educational Gamer, and we are playing Strategic Command World War II, World at War. So, we are gonna turn it over towards the Axis. I'm particularly interested what is gonna happen down here in Guadalcanal. There are two submarine units, there's a carrier unit. I'm not sure how well positioned we are to defend against that. I also want to see, of course, what is going to happen on the Eastern Front. We do have some German tanks that are trying to flank through the Pripyat marshes maybe. And we do have a line over here that is hopefully going to hold out. I'm mostly worried about actually the second corps over here. You know what? If I'm mostly worried about the second corps because its readiness and everything is so low, I might actually have to move our anti-air guns a little bit up there so that they are protecting that a little bit more. Also in the north, we are still being a little bit precariously flanked over here in the north, especially with the 16th Corps over here. And, well, down here maybe it's looking a little bit better. We'll have to see, really. I could move you out and I could move the cavalry in, and that could potentially allow us to finish this corps. You are in supply though, so it's not immediately important for us to do this. Okay, so yeah. Other than that, I think we are fine. Also in North Africa, things are looking a little bit okay, but there are still two submarine units, and some of our transport fleets over here are a little bit exposed, so we'll have to see about that. So, without further ado, let's turn it over towards the Axis and see what's going to happen. So, we are building some fortifications. That is nice to see, so that we do have a nice fallback line over there. Heroes! British Marines attack shipping at Bordeaux. Cockleshell heroes. I'll have to look that up. That does look very interesting. So yeah, we are blockading Brest. We are also blockading Bordeaux, although they don't even have any points left. Hinder supply to Australia. Yeah, so we do really need to take these guys out. Italian human torpedoes attack shipping at Gibraltar. That's not so nice. There are some transport fleets. Espionage advance. Oh, sorry. Advanced tank developments do advance for the US. AA defenses for the US. That's both very good. And that does finish the turn as for the Allies. It will now take over towards the Axis, calculating their supply. And again, we are mostly interested to see how it's going to go on the Eastern Front, which might at least be frozen. It is 18th of December, so let's see how things look over there. Some reinforcements, some withdrawals of some forces. That's interesting. So they are pulling back, which is good for us, of course. This is still enemy territory, so we should watch that. Still mostly reinforcements. They are bringing back their heavy tanks. They are throwing out their tank division over there in Riga. So we might be... Ooh, and there we go. Very, very bad attack on, I think, the Lexington over there. Yeah, some airfights from Kunching. Good attack on the interceptors, though. But this heavy cruiser is now a little bit badly positioned. Okay. Yeah, so Sutomir is in trouble over here. There are some attacks over there, but... well... yeah, this isn't really great. On the northern part of the front, I think so far we are pretty good. But yeah, it's always the corner sort of positions that are challenging for us. Defensive artillery, good to see. So Seattle will probably be falling at some point soon-ish. Minsk still holding out despite the attacks of these tanks and these corps. This position is much more dangerous though. But I don't think they have enough supplies over there. Our special forces are being attacked from people in Riga, including a cavalry corps, which I do find a little bit weird, to be honest. Yeah, but mostly the line seems to be holding. Vilnius is under heavy attack over here from a very experienced corps. Over here things are fine. Sutomir is... I'm worried about, but you know, if they are circling in their reinforcements over there, that does mean that this position is going to hold out. Still interested to see what these tanks are going to do. Defensive artillery down here. Still this army is under pressure. And yeah, likewise this corps is... sorry, this army actually is heavily damaged. And they will be losing a lot of morale from these types of attacks. German headquarters, ooh, German heavy artillery. That's not great, because that means our army over here, which is one of our best armies, will have difficulties to attack. Soviet morale improves. That is very, very good to see. So our national morale is going to go up a little bit. We are, of course, blockading these ports. Malta hinders supplies in the Mediterranean, and that's very nice. So yeah, it will turn us over to us, and we are going to deal with the Eastern Front, of course, as the first and most important front that we do have. So lots of notifications, but not too important. There are some special forces over there, some here. That's not really that important. We do know about forces in Narvik and in Warsaw. Again, not too critical, I would say. Good. The USSR is going to get a tank division and another army, so that's good, especially since we didn't lose anything. But yeah, it's 1st of January 1943 now, so the situation is snowy and frozen up a little bit, so as you can see, there's not much we can do in terms of attacks. Maybe, well, I say that, and then, you know, some of these attacks look really promising. So, let's think about the southern part of the front over here. So, firstly, I think down here in the very south, there's not that much that we can do. I guess we could pull out this army, because its morale is kind of low. Entrenchment isn't great, so it might make sense to rest you up a little bit. Yeah, but we can't really pull you out that far, so you know what, I'm just going to reinforce you. This corps again is doing well where it is. Could try to strike down here with our mechanized forces, but still, this is a very strong position and I don't want to get overexposed. Mechanized and tanks could strike down here. Not too bad. Who's actually the armies that you're looking after? It's not a bad combination. We do have these mechanized forces as well. Well, okay, let's think about that. We could attack the Italians. This position really not that strong anymore. Morale and readiness takes so long to bounce back once it's been reduced. You're fine though. What's this? This is a forest. What would be our supply situation up here? I think it wouldn't be too bad actually. It would be 7. Yeah, so let's get over here. No point in attacking these tanks, but still we are holding out fairly nicely over here. And they can't move up, and that is important. Position is really good over here. It would be so nice to attack these Germans, just get them out of the front. But we would be attacked by these counter batteries. And I don't think that's the most important thing. The most important thing is to just hold out on this line down here. Can reinforce these fighters. Although I do expect that over time it will be reduced anyway. Okay, there is more that we can do, and that is we can pull out these mechanized forces and bring in these engineers towards down here. And I think that would be a very good choice because right now the enemy doesn't occupy any of these fields, so it might actually make a lot of sense to fortify. Unfortunately, it always takes 70 days, so I think we're just going to fortify towards the east. Yeah, so fortify and rotate. Sorry, like that. And that's going to be fine. And then we have these mechanized forces ready to conduct a strike, maybe next turn. Readiness of all of these guys is fairly low, except for these mechanized forces. But this is a town, this is a settlement, so I really don't want to move in my mechanized forces to guard that. I could move in the tanks. Yeah, but they would be the same. So, yeah, they would be getting a big malus for that. So there's no one I can move in to reinforce you, so I'll simply have to reinforce you in place, even though your readiness is really low. As bad as that is. Right, up here in the north, I think line mostly held out beautifully. And there are some counterattacks that we could do over here. Nothing too exciting though. So I think we'll mostly try to stabilize what we have. And that should be fine. What's this over here? The 1st Cavalry Division. Really weird. Okay, your readiness isn't great, but your morale is sort of okay. It doesn't make sense to bring in this army, I think. Well, maybe switch these guys out. Yeah, so that's fine. We have switched these guys out. They are a little bit, their readiness is a bit higher. And the special forces will reinforce this heavy army. Sorry, this army, it's just a normal army. This army up here has taken quite a bit of a beating. We do have our heavy tanks, but I'm not sure that we should be attacking in winter conditions. Minsk, you're actually fine. Yeah, let's simply go through who's looking fine and could deserve an upgrade. Reinforcements. These fighters definitely, they did a good job. Could get elite reinforcements over here. But I'm still debating on whether someone else should be holding out over here. Yeah, your readiness is really low. The issue is I can't really move you out. Unless I move out the garrison. And then we can move up these heavy tanks. Could have actually stayed over here and just withdrawn our defensive lines slightly. Wouldn't have been too bad. Okay, so that does leave the question about what to do with these engineers. I think we'll simply continue to move this line a little bit such that we can fortify down here. So set mode, fortify, rotating, and that's fine. So yeah, just get a line down here. That should be fine. We could actually have moved up a little bit further, but I think that's going to be alright. Good. That does leave quite a couple of points for the Soviets here for the very first time, I think. So yeah, let's make sure to reinforce these fighters. Can reinforce these bombers. Can get elite reinforcements over there. Could also reinforce our battleship, actually. Speaking of, you could actually come down here and strike. But you know what? We are going to reinforce it now. We do have the points to do this, so yeah, I'm going to be happy to do that. And yeah, everyone else is fine on the Soviet front. So yeah, it's frozen up a little bit. Not too importantly. Not too strongly, I mean to say. Yeah, just some Norman strikes down here for these light cruisers. Oh, you've also gained an experience point. That is nice to see. Good. So you know what? I think we can actually deal with a couple of other things as well then for the Soviets. So readiness. What's your readiness and supply and morale so low? Actually, how does our morale look right now? National morale, yeah, it's jumped up a little bit, 86. Still worse than the Germans, but the Germans are losing out more quickly, so that's fine. Yeah, so let's have a look at Norway then, and move up towards Oslo. Enemy contact. I did not expect that to go this way, but yeah. You're watching about all of these troops, that's fine, but the supply situation is a little bit tenuous. But it should be getting better. All in all, the situation I think is fine. The weather precludes any type of reinforcement. Let's get you at least over here so that you'll be supplied a little bit better next turn. Huh, surprising to see that that would actually be a zero type of attack. I mean, our morale is really low. Just how does the supply situation look now? It's pretty bad down here actually. But the potential is very high. Right, so within Norway I don't think we need anyone else right now. We'll of course send these submarines over here. You are set to... No, I don't want to do honors. I simply want to check. Well, I think you were set to be raiding. Light cruisers, you're blockading that port. Heavy cruiser, you're blockading that port. Not much point, I think, doing any attacks over here. So yeah, that's gonna be alright. Couple of heavy cruisers and such. This submarine squadron down here, which we'll set to hunt, of course, on any of these fields. And then we can bring down the battleships towards over here. And I should expect that we are seeing some coastal guns over there. Let's try to make a strike with the battleship. Looks fine so far. Let's try to bring in the second battleship. Well, the entrenchment hasn't gone down, has it? And most of England is rainy, big surprise. So we can't really do a strike on these craft at all. Right now, at least not with our English forces. Oh, I should really move up these Canadians. Let's get over here. I think I forgot about that maybe last time. Let's check on the German fleets and Italian fleets. It's 1 and 1 each. So yeah, they haven't rebuilt any of their squadrons, which is good to know. Yeah. Other than that, I think the situation in England is alright. But we do have a couple of destroyer squadrons over here that definitely need to move up towards the Mediterranean. And I think it's very nice to just build up a wall like that, so that submarines can't pass. And we are fairly sure that this area is clean, although this area up here is a little bit more dubious. Good. Right, so can't push up any further in Norway. We do have a couple of carriers up here. Well, I guess what we could do is bring up the carriers down here and then conduct some strikes on these craft, but I'm a little bit reluctant to do that. Let's though increase the range on these American fighters, and why not on these strategic bombers. The heavy cruise over here can get a naval and upgrade, and that's going to be it. And these destroyers, nothing really that we need to do with you, but I would like to keep a couple of destroyers in the region. Let's move you up to Scapa Flow so that you have a little bit more active range to deal with things that are up and about. Yeah, and we do hope that long term we'll be able to strike on Oslo and free up Norway that way. That would be very lovely. Good. Yeah, I think we can move the Canadians towards the southern coast. Not that it matters that much. And that's pretty much it for that situation. Let's look at the North Americas. We do see a medium bomber. Medium bombers are mostly morale type of damage. So I would potentially like to get you towards the South African coast. And these tanks we will transport. Put on them on transport fleet and send towards Africa. As we'll of course do with these guys. And you can cruise up here. I think the first anti-air. It's not a very crucial element of our defense. And some marines who I guess we could move up. So, and since we do find ourselves here and we do have a little bit of time left, let's start to strike on with medium bombers, because they are dealing the ones dealing damage. So yeah, let's strike on Algiers. That should reduce their morale. We'll follow that up with a strike by these tactical bombers. That should reduce their potential in combat. Then we are going to strike with these mechanized forces. That went a little bit better than expected. Can strike with this army as well. And another time with the mechanized forces. We can pull you back. Pull up with this army. Conduct that strike. And move into Algiers. And that should mean that they are done for. Very, very good. We're going to move up these forces. These tanks, we should also just simply move up. I don't think there's anything that we can upgrade over here. What's that? Oh, just the town itself. There's no point in upgrading the town, I think, though. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we do still have some time, so Let's look at the situation in Tunisia. Okay, let's strike with our battleships, our heavy cruisers, our aircraft from our carriers, our tactical bombers. Okay, at least we didn't lose anything either. Come on, this is an artillery brigade, for Christ's sake. Ah, very good. We did push them back. That is excellent news. I guess we could have shelled them first. That is excellent news, so we can move in a little bit behind them after here. And that should principally reduce their strategic income. Sorry, their supplies. That's what I meant to say. Right. You guys all did your dues. You can move up. I can't reinforce this army. Well, let's make sure that we hunt them down as we push up over here. And then this army can simply come to this town. Yeah, and I think that's broadly speaking alright. These Frenchmen need to come towards England, so that soon we'll be able to strike against their craft there. Should see a German headquarter unit over here. Yes, we do. Come on, how much damage would we be doing? Surprising that we don't do more damage on these guys. Yeah, but soon we will. I mean, we are very much pushing up over here, so that's fine. These carriers, your air squadron is needs some reinforcement, so that is good to see as well. Right, we can declare war on Tunis, and I think we need to. I'm not sure who this guy is though. Okay, so let's land you. Yeah, I thought it. See, I thought it was a headquarter unit, and I was right about that. So let's push up a little bit with that, and that. Who are you? Oh, you? Yeah, yeah. Also a UK trooper who wants to go all the way over here. Range can be so high on some of these transports. Right, so that does mean we are looking for the German/Italian submarines. Well, my first guess is that someone is at Palermo. Yes, indeed. We cannot really strike that, which is a little bit unfortunate, and I do think that someone is in La Spezia. But what we can do is build up like a wall of destroyers this way, so that they really should have difficulties in striking us. And then what we're going to do is bring up our heavy cruisers over here and be ready to take on Tunis sometime, probably next turn. Can move up some of these bombers, that's fine. Yeah, let's move up these transports so that they're all at least in harbour, although we might have to move them up a little bit more strongly. Mexican troops can always be brought forward, and these marine tanks, simply bring them up like such. And then soon we'll be able to take on Italy on its home turf. I guess we can move this. No. Oh well. Yeah. So that leaves us with these medium bombers. And you know what? For now, what I'm going to do is going to upgrade them for better ground attack weapons, longer range. And I don't need naval weaponry, so that's fine. Although it would be tempting to strike some of these submarines in the not too distant future. But for now, I think the Mediterranean is more or less settled. That does probably leave some Indian army units around here. Jerusalem, I think you want to move up to Tobruk, actually, long term. And these guys here, these Gurkhas, we'll likewise send towards Tobruk, unload over here, so that hopefully we'll be able to transport more units, in particular these tanks, and bring them over towards Europe, and that might not be too bad. Right. Good. So, I think with Europe pretty much settled, we can turn on over towards Asia and potentially even get the Axis turn into the next episode. So things are starting to look up a little bit more fast than maybe before. Oh, we should place our Soviet units. I totally forgot about that. So the first tanks. I'm slightly tempted to put them up over here because I still think it would be so nice to cut off these guys in Riga over there. Whereas right now I don't see the ability to push through over here. I mean, there's a big gap actually, but it's not necessarily the case that we can cut off their supply easily, even though there are 2 mechanized forces down here, and we are lacking a little bit of mechanized forces up over here. We do still have the heavy tanks though, so and it's not critical to push through over here too strongly, so that's fine. The 43rd Army though, that is maybe a little bit more of a difficult choice. It feels fairly stable over here. It feels fairly stable. That doesn't mean it is stable. But let's push it down here so that we can circle around these units a little bit. And that should be fine. And you know what? Since one of these units is definitively for Europe, let's put you up over in New York. And you know what? The Essex carrier, we're also going to put in New York Harbor because they will be supporting our operations in the Mediterranean, and that should be fairly fine. These destroyers up here we're going to leave where they are. These guys we are going to leave in Gibraltar, even though that is risking the situation spiraling out of control a little bit on the on the US side. And these UK headquarters will soon be able to pull out of Europe. So yeah, that's fine. So next time we'll be dealing with Asia. For now, I thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.